Hey guys, I'm Dhanush. This is India Echo. You're watching Aam Aadmi Review. Today we're going to be doing the review of
Spider-Man does whatever a spider can. Spins a web.
So Spider-Man Far From Home is the latest installment in the Marvel Cinematic Universe films. It's also the sequel of the first standalone Spider-Man MCU film, Spider-Man Homecoming. So the film Spider-Man Far From Home is set after the Battle of Earth event. The Battle of Earth is the final battle in Endgame, which you must have seen, where Cap does the Mjolnir thing and is like, Avengers assemble, and everybody gathers together. They kick Thanos' ass in Union, that one. So this is based after the Battle of Earth. That means Peter's long-term superhero coach and mentor, Tony Stark, died. So how is Peter dealing with it? Is he in grief? Is he telling himself that it's all his fault? Is he doing double shifts as Spider-Man? Did he become an unfunny, no-nonsense superhero adult? No, of course not. Because he's not Batman, he's Spider-Man. Spider-Man is completely optimistic. He looks at the bright side of things. Batman is hardcore pessimistic. There is no such thing as bright side in his dictionary. You know, if Batman deals with a loss, he would be like, Rachel! But if Spider-Man deals with a loss, he's normally like,
really pretty.
Therefore, I have value.
No, that's not
I'm
right.
messing with you. You look pretty too.
you see the difference, right? So instead of mourning for Iron Man, Peter decides to go to Europe with his friends on a holiday trip and take some days off as a crime-fighting Spider-Man. But unfortunately, Nick Fury is on his tail and Nick Fury has a mission for Spider-Man. And what does Peter say to that? He rejects. He says no. Why is he rejecting a mission? Because he wants to have good time with his crush, Michelle Jones, aka MJ. I don't understand this. Why is he suddenly into MJ? Wasn't he into Liz in the first part? It almost feels like his feelings for Michelle fabricated out of thin air after he found out her nickname is MJ. That's so strange, man. Anyway, why did a big hero as Spider-Man say no to a mission? Why, to go out with his friends? Yes. But isn't that silly? No, it's not silly. Okay, for starters, we need to understand, guys, that Peter Parker is a 16-year-old who got his powers when he was 14 years old. And ever since that, he took up the mantle as a Spider-Man and decided to give up his social life and potential teenage memories that he deserves to have so that he could fight crime and make a difference. And where did that get him? He lost Liz, he lost his homecoming, he was accidentally blown to space, and he fought the worst of the worst, Thanos, and got his ass kicked. And last, he was erased out of existence for 5 goddamn years. And then when he came back and he thought everything is done, it wasn't. Tony Stark died. Now after all of this, is it too much for Peter to ask for a break? I don't think so. He's human after all. And he's a teenager. These kind of things affect teenagers the most. Things like telling a girl how they feel or hanging out with friends are important, and they should be important for teenagers. So it's okay if Peter wants to take a break. So every time Peter is complaining about how he missed his holiday because of the mission, you know it's wrong on a moral front, but you can't help but feel sad about Peter. The way Peter deals with a death was shown a bit realistically. I mean, Peter didn't just leave everything and directly get into a hole. Instead, he was still the normal, quirky, awkward, nerdy teenager, but along with that, he was also feeling sad about Tony Stark. It wasn't unnatural. The way they balanced the whole plot with Peter fighting with his issues was pitch perfect. Michelle Jones, aka MJ, was the loner in the first film. In the second film, not so much. She becomes the love interest of Spider-Man. So her transition from a loner to, well, MJ doesn't feel like a sudden jerk. And it's actually good that way. It was very well shown. It was gradual, it was appropriate, and it synced in well with the movie's plot. So that was pitch perfect. And Zendaya's acting to be lovable, loner, rude, and dark all at the same time, that was amazing. The trailer of the film was very cleverly constructed, more clever than Endgame if I can say, because everything you've seen in the trailer is just the first half. So you have the whole first half to sink in with the mood and understand what's going on, and in the second half, anything that's gonna happen is something you haven't seen coming at all. Something that is totally different from Homecoming, where the people simply spoiled the whole film through the trailers. if you are a teenager, you will definitely relate to each and every aspect of the film. The way the teenage life is shown in this film is demographically appropriate, if that's a thing. Now, Spider-Man Homecoming had its fair share of drawbacks of becoming a sitcom kind of tone over there and extracting awkward humor about every single situation. But when it comes to Far From Home, boy did they deliver. I mean, Far From Home was so good and so appropriate. Many aspects of Homecoming started seeming relevant after that. And Marvel somehow exactly knows what to do with every film it has done before. I mean, all those films have amalgamated and become a history of Spider-Man Far From Home. They became the history on the base of which the superhero is built. So there are a lot of references of a lot of superheroes from the previous films in the film which do not seem forced. They just seem to be there perfectly because that's how they're supposed to be. And by references, I don't just mean mentioning hero names, I mean more than that. I don't want to give much away, guys, but you have to look out for it. They are perfect. Now, for hardcore MCU fans like me, we thought Endgame was the end of Phase 3. But then we found out that Spider-Man Far From Home is actually the last movie that comes in MCU Phase 3. So Phase 3 was the end of Thanos, and then after Thanos we had Far From Home. Why? Because in Far From Home, we wrapped up the aftermath of the Endgame by showing what exactly happened, and also we opened the universe to much more possibilities that could be shown in Phase 4. I can't give much away. You should look out for the post-credit scenes by which you can understand what Phase 4 is up to. Spider-Man Far From Home is definitely an amazing watch. If you're a Marvel fan, you will never miss it. If you're not, you should definitely watch it. This was the Aam Aadmi review for Spider-Man Far From Home. My name is Dhanush, and if you liked the video, please give a thumbs up, comment on it, share it, and please subscribe to India Echo.